Hi guys, I'm here to do Sagittarius or whoever's guided to come and watch this video. I would like to tell you that I did lay out the cards for you just so we don't waste any time shuffling the cards, and so I just did it for you, and I also put them in groups, the groups that I was guided to put them under so they could tell a story. And so I did meditate as I was pulling your cards, and this is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. So I will tell you the zodiac signs that I see, which are pretty much all of the zodiac signs, but I will tell you which ones scream out the most. And so don't focus too much on the zodiac signs and more on the events that take place. And so if it resonates with you, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't, just forget about it. Maybe another tarot reader you kind of resonate more with another tarot reader or with another zodiac sign from your natal chart. So please make sure you look at your natal chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Jupiter, and cross-check them. And if they all resonate, then those aspects of the reading are for you. And if they don't resonate, just chuck them out. Don't focus too much on the genders of the cards. Everybody has female and male energy. So we begin. So the first card I pulled for you guys is one of my deck, and the overall energy, which is Judgment. It means that you've gone through a major awakening. So something had happened that it was profoundly changed the course of your life. Some major event with a Judgment card here. It says you've awakened and things will never be the same again. So you will look at things differently. You will make different choices. This was like a lifelong lesson. And you even have changed your path because of this lesson. It's something that you had to learn. And these awakenings actually are our karmic lessons. And I will talk further about that in a little bit. So let me just talk to you guys about... let's go and clarify the Judgment, and then I will clarify your energy in the current state, in the past state, and in the future state. So this is like the clarifier, and a lot of cards came out for the clarifier of the Judgment card, and this is like your how you're feeling presently, and how you felt in the past, and your near future to your final outcome card here. And so, where do I begin? Okay, so I did clarify the Judgment card, and you had a major arcanas pop up. You had, and they all popped up at once in a clump. So I kind of had to make a story about this and even pull up more clarifiers. So you've had the Tower, the Empress, the Star, which are all major arcanas. So here I see all earth signs, I see fire signs, I see water signs, and I see the card of Scorpio, the card of Taurus, the card of Aquarius, yeah. So, but basically fire, earth here on these cards. Okay, so let's begin with the Tower and the Empress in reverse. You can see that the Empress upright means fertility, abundance, nurturing energy, like a female energy, a nurturing energy. Remember that we have both female and male energy. So but it was reversed. So it means that something happened, like some shit hit the fan, like some major event, catastrophic. You might have been devastated. It was like a big blow. And it might not look like a blessing, but it will be a blessing later, because this usually happens when you have to undergo a change in your life, a change that you have been unwilling to make, but the universe makes it for you because they know what your higher self wants. And so it seemed like you were unhappy, or you were, this is the law of attraction too. It seems like you were telling yourself something which caused this change right here. Because if you don't create change, if you're not your own change agent, change will happen to you. So what I see here is that something, so you might have had somebody whether it's you as a female, might have had a miscarriage, or might have been like, something might have not been fruitful or infertile, or like there was no growth in the situation. And if you're a male, then maybe your significant other had a miscarriage, or maybe this partnership didn't grow beyond what it was supposed to be, so. And then I clarified actually the Empress to see. And so for some of you guys it was a miscarriage, and for some of you guys it was actually a failed relationship, because here you were you actually created this was a karmic contract. This was like a soul contract that you had with this person, with a Three of Pentacles. You like created something with this person, like this new relationship, this new contract with this person. But this person came out Queen of Pentacles reverse, which is a person that's when it's upright, it's a person that's very giving, nurturing, selfless, is like working to maintain a happy home, a cozy home, somebody who has a lot of love to give for themselves and other people, so they create a comfortable home in a nurturing home. But she came out reverse, which means that it's a person who was very selfish and self-absorbed. It could be you that was selfish and self-absorbed in this situation, or it could be, if you're a male, it could be somebody who was or a female. It could be like gay relationships too. Somebody was self-absorbed and not really focused on their home, and was focused more about spending money and like and just all about themselves, and forgetting to be nurturing towards others, where it was such a self-absorption where like feelings could come last. Their priorities was on themselves and their materialism. And so I clarified this, and I got the Ace of Hearts. And now the Ace of Hearts, a lot of people may think it's the Ace of Cups, but in playing cards it's a little different, because this is like old school and it's interpreted in a different way. And so how this card was interpreted, according to the book that I have on playing cards and their interpretations here, it's a really cool book. So it's like somebody that was so self-absorbed, like almost like narcissistic, and they're like was so emotional that they flipped out and were dramatic about everything. Like they made huge drama, and it like worse than a spoiled brat, acted worse than a spoiled brat. And it didn't matter where they were and what kind of environment, they had to have their way, because it's just their way or the highway, because it was all about them. And so it seemed like somebody invested in the wrong person here. And so but they did make a soul contract with this person. But so these cards came out all at once. And so you kind of felt, or these energies could be for the cross watcher, or it could be for the person that is a Sagittarius. So it just depends who you are within these energies. But somebody felt like this cycle was completing, because it was a lot of baggage. They were carrying a lot of shit from this. It was too much to handle. It was too much baggage, too much problems. It was just, they were like getting tired of it. They were just, enough is enough. And they were like completing the cycle. It was like, just you couldn't carry any more baggage. I think you would have broken your feet, really. And so, like I said, it could have been a miscarriage, and but it also could be that a person, like the person's in their feelings about a connection that was very challenging, that was like one-upmanship, like always fighting with each other on who has the most or who does the most. And like it could be gossip. It could be gossip related, like meddling from other people, like So you were in your feelings about all this like fighting and bickering and quarreling and like one-upmanship and stuff like this, and like, and the star, and then the star came up too, which is like you had to heal from the situation because it was really like traumatizing and you're still in your feelings about it, and so you have to heal. And right here, the number that I got here was 13, which is also like a karmic lesson. It was very karmic. And so yeah, and so right here, so it was something that you couldn't really see, like you were seeing foggy with the illumination in reverse. So when it's illumination upright, it's like you could see something, like it was very your intuition was like pointing out to something that you know you trusted, but here it's like you couldn't see the trees from the forest, so to speak. And then here and also it's like here somebody was like, because of these problems and this bickering and like this failed relationship, somebody was coming in and out of someone's life, like, you know, being with a Knight of Wands, somebody was like trying to go out with their friends and like party and drink to avoid all these problems and to get away for a little bit from all these problems that they have and all this bickering and this failed relationship. And so they were out partying, you know, maybe they could have been sleeping around with other people. At this point, they didn't care because it kind of like this losing themselves in spontaneity was kind of like a relief for them to get out of like the drama that they were experiencing at the moment. And so this all came out at once. And so now we go to your reading. And so at the present moment, in this present moment, you're feeling like, you know, all the gossip and the quarreling, you're putting that behind you with a 5 of Swords in reverse. Do you see, like, this is when you're fighting, you know, like, people are winning the battle, but not the war. You know, it was like an empty victory, and like people were having empty victories. People were being humiliated, but you know, this way it means like you're leaving that behind and you're just walking away from that petty shit. Like you don't want to deal with that. You're walking away. You've had enough. You had enough of this embarrassment, of this drama, of this bickering, of this gossip, of people meddling. And what crosses you is like choices, or like this could be like, if for some of you guys is like doing drugs, you know, drinking too much to avoid these problems, and all the choices from actually being the Knight of Wands, from going out there and meeting all these people. If you're a woman, meeting all these men, or if you're a guy, meeting all these women, you know, overindulging on alcohol and drugs, you know, having too many choices, which cause indecision. And you're like, here you're like, oh my, and you're trying to consult with like the universe or your higher self or with yourself, saying, okay, what do I do here? It's like too much. I have all these options and I just don't know what the right path is for me. I just don't know. Please help me. And you're like, you want to put all these negative energies behind you, and we'll go on with that in a little bit. So let's talk about your past for a little bit. So here you had like unfulfilled dreams, like something was barren. You know, like I said, either somebody had a miscarriage, and or so because someone had a miscarriage, either you or the person that you were with a Page of Pentacles. This means a child. You know, this could mean a child. You were like, you started like to go out and drink a lot with the 7 of Cups and the 9 of Cups in reverse. You started to drink a lot to avoid all your problems and to drown yourself in your sorrows, and like to forget for a little bit about the problems that you've had. And so so in the near future, it's like I got the Devil in reverse, which you're getting away from this toxic situation. You don't want it anymore. you're like, I'm done with it, that's it. So this is like, or either you might have been dealing with a Capricorn because it was an earth sign, it was like Queen of Pentacles. So you might have Capricorn in your chart, or you were dealing with a Capricorn, and you're like, okay, I'm done with it, I'm walking away from either this Capricorn or this toxic situation. And so you've turned your back on the devil, okay? And so you can see here that there's a book burning, and this might have been your soul contract that you're burning, and you're like, fuck it, it's over, I don't care, you know, I've completed the soul contract, I'm writing my own life with my free will, I'm choosing to walk away and writing a new chapter in my book. I'm burning this because it's served its purpose. And so 5 here, with soul numerology, it means freedom. So you're wanting to be free from this karmic soul contract, which you can see that it behooves you, because you can see here the lily, and you can see the flower, and you can see like growth from your decision of walking away from something so barren. But you're still like, you still have mixed emotions about this, and you have like indecision still, because there's something that you're unable to see, or you don't want to see, with a mask over your eyes, like you're blindfolded, you're blindfolding yourself, because you have 2 decisions here to make, and you don't know what decision to make. Should I walk away from this person, or should I go with another choice that I have here with the 7 of Cups? Which choice should I make? Which choice is the right for me? But you know which choice is the right one for you with the Sun here, but you're just not willing to see it with the blindfold on and the illumination card upside down. You're unwilling to see this. You don't want to use, for some reason, your intuition. God knows why. God knows why. You have it, but you know, you're just like, you're all up in your ego. You were up in your ego, but now you want to leave that because you feel that it just doesn't, you know, serve you in the right way. It's just, you have to move on from this. And so here with the 6 of Pentacles in reverse, it's like, here it's when he's like looking at what he invested in and trying to doesn't know the outcome of what he's investing on, but is trying to be fair. And here is like, he knows what he invested on. So here you can see that he's trying to look at the big picture, and you don't know whether he looks dejected, or he's really looking at his empire to see if he actually, what are the things that he invested on, and were they like, and did he reap the rewards, or like looking at the experiences that he had and the karmic lessons that he had in this situation, and what things would he change, and what mistakes did he do, and why. It's kind of like almost learning and reflecting on this devil aspect that in the Tower moment that they had in the past. So looking over the past and like looking at your failed mistakes, or in what you could have done better, and what you could do going forward with the lessons that you have learned. And so I did clarify the 6 of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords came out. So you might be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or you might have cut something cold turkey out of your life. You might have cut some things that don't serve you anymore. It's people that don't serve you, and just, you know, you might have gotten a divorce if you were married, or you just, like, you said enough of this shit, and like, you know, are really putting your emotions to the side and are seeing things clearly now, and you have made a decision and you just want to cut things out of your life. So I clarified this, and the Knight of Swords came out, which is a knight that is like, it runs towards something to communicate, but he might not necessarily run towards it in a gentle way. He runs towards something in a very aggressive way. This is an aggressive person. It's also a Gemini. Maybe you want to like go back and like give them a piece of your mind, because you were like, you couldn't believe all the shit that's happened to you, and all this bickering and this drama, and how selfish this person was. or you're dealing with a Gemini here, with the Lovers here in the Knight of Swords. You're dealing with a Gemini who actually cut you off because she doesn't want toxic shit, and like but you like, you could have yeah, so you could want to come back to a Gemini. You know, you could want to like make a choice and come back to a Gemini or talk to a Gemini, but not in maybe in an aggressive way, instead of like, these kind of people are like tornadoes. They may, and you know how tornadoes sometimes come into your field and they might clean the field up with, if it needs cleaning, or they might cause disaster and wreak havoc. So so you might want to come to this person like this, either a Gemini if you're dealing with a Gemini, or you know, or the other person's, or you might want to like cut all the choices that you have, and like maybe like and maybe make decisions more with your head instead of your heart. So this is what I have for you so far. And so let's see what the angels say, guys. I do have some karmic numbers here. So I do have karmic lessons here. 13 is a karmic lesson here. So a karmic lesson was over. You want to run away from situations or self. So, but it says here that you have to like be responsible for your emotions and what you've sown, you know, and take charge of your responsibilities towards what happened. You know, this is something that you created too. And there was another number that I saw here. What was it? Just bear with me here. Yeah, so you had 2 3s, 3 7s, and 3 6, and this is what they mean. So the 3s mean, the 3s mean that you're being self-critical of yourself, or somebody's being too self-critical, and because of these embarrassing situations of this one-upmanship and stuff like this, when you have these humiliations, you might feel devalued, and when you feel devalued, you're like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, you know, why do I feel this way? Like, why do these only things like this happen to people, low lives or whatever, you know, you're just negative. You're doing this with a negative talk instead of, you know, looking at the karmic lessons, and that they're actually blessings and they're lessons, so you don't commit the same mistakes again, you know. But you're looking at yourself like, well, with these humiliations, and like kind of like your self-esteem has taken a hit, and you know, you've like, you're not your fun, happy self. You know, you've become a little serious about this because you need time to heal. So you've become serious about this and kind of forgot your childlike ways, and like to have fun and to like be in the present moment and to have your cheerful demeanor. So, and also there's like a problem with communication here, like in you wanting to communicate in an aggressive manner. Maybe for some of you guys, you should communicate instead of being aggressive. You should communicate with keeping like a win-win situation in mind, just to like not rock the boat more than what it needs to, you know, and walk away from these karmic situations. You know that they're karmic lessons, but face them in a calm way, you know, with your emotions aligned, with your emotions balanced and your chakras aligned, in the way that you can balance your emotions by aligning your chakras. sevens. And this means that you need to deepen your knowledge and talents in a specific discipline. So you lack the will and determination to perfect yourself. And we see here with your intuition, because maybe you're not using your intuition here with the Seven of Cups and the Two of Swords and the Illumination card upside down. You're unwilling to be intuitive. And when you're intuitive, you act on instincts and you make the right decisions. Because when you're aligned with the universe and you let energy flow, you're bound to go through your life's path and have less of these situations where they require you to have this big tower moment. So you also says a superficial understanding of important matters will prevent you from experiencing the satisfaction of your true potential. So don't just skim the surface with things, like, delve into your emotions, whether it be your emotions or you reflecting on what had happened in the past. Really take the time to go over your experiences and look at your part that in the responsibility you had played in organizing this type of situation and having this tower moment. And then the last number that you got was, so you have major issues, or your ex-partner has major issues with commitment and responsibility to others. You have a hard time committing to marriage and other important personal relationships. You have to learn to show your true emotions. It's like you run away from your emotions by being uncommittal. And so you go and you be a Knight of Wands to run to another situation to try to relieve yourself from the stress of being by yourself, to actually acknowledge what you really feel and putting your intuition to work. You may feel isolated and alone, but do not understand why. It's because you haven't really developed your feelings like the King of Cups would. The reason is that very often you form relationships yet remain heavily guarded, putting up a show of emotion without truly communicating affection or care. This can make the bond between you and others superficial. Okay, there's something to be said about being vulnerable. This is what real intimate moment is. Intimacy is not having sex with somebody. Intimate is not just being naked, not just being naked and having somebody look at your nakedness physically, but also the nakedness within the depth of your eyes, like all the traumas and your like fears and phobias, and also your joys, and being able to be your authentic self and telling somebody your deepest desires and having somebody support you and accept you for who you are. Until you accept yourself, somebody else won't be able to accept you. So you have to remove those masks. So in order for you to have real intimacy, and people that tend to be the Knight of Wands tend to have this thing where they can't, they have problems being intimate. And so when they actually create this real bond between a person, they wouldn't feel the need to do this, because they would be not only fulfilling their own cup, but they would have enough love and trust and support to actually be fulfilled in their relationship. So this is a true way to have lasting love. So let's see what the angels say, guys. Let's see what the angels say about this. So what do the angels say? So don't look at this as a waste of time. Look at it as a waste of time if you continue to be in the same pattern lifetime after lifetime, or a relationship after relationship, and do not reflect and do not grow from the situations. You keep repeating the same thing. And repeating the same thing is actually the definition of insanity, is when you do the same thing and expect different results. That is what an insane person would do. So it requires you to have the self-reflection, to actually take responsibility for your part in the situation, because nobody is guiltless. Everybody, you had a part. It takes two people, right? And whoever else that you had in your soup bowl with the Five of Swords. Anyway, so what do the angels have to say? What do the angels have to say in regards to this situation? This is Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Jupiter, and Venus. Some readings do require more time than other readings. Other readings is pretty simple, it's laid out, but some readings just are more complex than this. So you want an easy reading, trust me. You don't want a complex reading, because it's a bowl of soup oftentimes. If I could have a 2-card reading, I would love it. Okay, so what do the angels say? Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. It says here, clairaudience. So you might be getting some messages either through music, through television, through, sometimes when you walk through the mall and then you hear a song play and it reminds you of your situation. Those are messages that the universe and the angels are trying to give you. Listen to the music. Listen to maybe somebody in the metro station or the bus says something to you about something that had you contemplating a certain situation. Those are messages sent by the angels. Maybe you hear something on the TV which reminds you of your situation, or maybe you hear something within your mind, a thought that just pops out. Notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind or from other places. So the angels are trying to speak to you regarding this. So listen, this is part of being intuitive. Okay, what else do they say actually? What else do they say? What else do the angels say? What else do the angels say? Great shamans, spirit guides. Prioritize. Okay, now that you're moving forward, focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. So don't keep the emotions that you feel on the inside. Let them all out. If you have to scream, if you have to take a day to cry, you need to let those emotions out. Because if you hold them within you, you're going to get sick, and you're going to produce all these blockages in your chakras that you're not going to be aligned with the universe, and you're not going to, your intuition's not going to be on fleek. And you are not going to be clairaudience, and you're not going to be able to receive these downloads that you get from the universe. So if you want your intuition to be on fleek, then you need to prioritize what's most important to you, right? Pros and cons. And you have too many energies here, too many bowls of soup here. You need to be the Queen of Swords and cut some shit out. Cut people or places or circumstances that do not serve you. This queen is a loving queen, okay? She's a Gemini. Or you're portraying this energy of a Gemini or Aquarius or Libra. They're very smart, okay? And they have a heart but they also think logically, okay? And the best Geminis or the best Libras that I know, the best air signs I know, they make sure that their heart aligns with their thoughts. And then they are decisive and they cut shit out abruptly. They don't second guess their decisions. They're not in the Two of Swords, okay? They cut shit out because their heart had made an alignment with their mind. But their mind is the driving force of why they do this, because not just emotions just do not count. Actions count just as much as emotions. So have you heard of the 80-20 principle? Okay, focus on two things, you get 80% results. Okay, focus on two things that you can accomplish. Every day, do something in regards to it, even if it's one step at a time. And the universe will help you. Divine will help you, spirit will help you to manifest what you want to manifest. But you can't manifest when you are undecisive. You can't manifest when you're in this energy. 5 of Swords, you can't, because you have blockages. You have like a low vibration, so you need to raise your vibrations in order for you to manifest. So prioritize and watch out for signs from your guides. Thank you guys, I love you, and thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you next time for Capricorn's video. Remember, this is mid-February, and as soon as I'm done with Capricorn and Aquarius, I will get started with a March before March for all the zodiac signs. And I want to focus on past lives, starting with Aries and going down the zodiac sign, because I think it's really interesting, and it also gives you a little bit of insight of how those past life circumstances have carried us forward to this new life, and how those gifts and also those karmic lessons are affecting us now in this present moment. So I want to do that for you, and so talk to you guys later. Bye.